Hey guys, Barndoorr here. We're back with another Demon Hunter guide today. Today we are going to be going into the intricacies of everything Havoc Demon Hunter for this coming up 9.1 Arena and RBG season. There will be a separate video for Vengeance, so that one's coming here in a little bit. But right now, let's just get right into it, and let's go ahead and start talking about our Demon Hunter. And as you can see in front of us, we are no longer a Night Fae Demon Hunter. Now, I'm not saying that Night Fae isn't viable. I have a lot of good buddies, a lot of multi-rank ones who are using Night Fae, and they're very happy with it. But I've got, for every good buddy that I have that's going Night Fae, staying Night Fae, I've got even more that want to go Necrolord. So today, we're going to be talking about the new Necrolord Demon Hunter. So, first things first, let's go ahead and let's just jump right into the benefits of playing Necrolord versus the benefits of playing Night Fae. Necrolord, I'll show you some of the talents, some of the abilities, some of the Covenant things that make it a little bit better in my opinion. But the Necrolord Demon Hunter, it lives better, right? You're able to sustain a little bit more. It's got really good pressure. The single target pressure, the just overall damage is really good. And the only thing you lose by not being Night Fae is the hunt. You lose the one-shot potential, but you gain so much more. You gain so much survivability. And that's the one big thing coming into this next season. If you don't know, there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of rumors circling right now about how armor's been nerfed. People are going to die a little bit more easy. I don't know whether that's 100% true or not. I need to look into it a little bit, be truthful with you guys. But at the end of the day, whether it is or not, I know that I've played, let me look at this. Just on my Demon Hunter, I've played almost 300 off-season, preseason games to make sure that first of all, I knew what I was talking about, and second of all, that this Necrolord Demon Hunter is going to be exactly what I expected, right? Which is going to be very good pressure, very good sustained pressure, and insane survivability. So, to my opinion, that's going to be like the benefits of going Necrolord over Night Fae, is that you won't have the one-shot potential, but you have great sustained damage, and you have survivability. So, let's go ahead and get into our talent choices here, right? So, we're looking right here, and let me go ahead and disable this so you guys can see. We're looking right here, and our first row, first two rows, we can go ahead and get into the Fellblade Demon Blades. I did more experimenting with Demonic Appetite and Burning Hatred, and as much as honestly, that's my favorite build, guys. I like the Fellblade Demon Blade, but I miss the days when Demonic Appetite and Burning Hatred were good. Something about Demon's Bite and the way that the Demonic Appetite, the Leech, the Soul Orbs heal you so much. I missed that a little bit, but as far as this current upcoming season, I think Fellblade Demon Blades is going to be the play. Demon Blades damage did get buffed as well. Demon Blades damage did get buffed, so your auto attacks have a 60% chance to deal additional shadow damage and generate fury. Right, that's all been buffed a little bit if you read the 9.1 patch notes, and it does pretty good, right? I notice it a fair amount, right? That's the one thing, guys, just comparing right now versus where Demon Hunter was. The buffs that have just been so good. When you queue up, you're going to notice that Demon Hunters do a lot more damage. Especially Necrolord Demon Hunter is a lot of sustained damage, a lot of burst proc damage. May not have that one shot of Night Fae, but I think it makes up for it, and I think it's still 100% going to be the meta. Unbound Chaos, I tried running Trial of Ruin. Unfortunately, even with running like the conduit to make Blade Dance, it just does not deal the damage that you want it to. And Unbound Chaos, it was nerfed, but it was only nerfed by a sixth, right? A sixth of the damage amplifier that it did do. It was 600, now it's 500%. Let me tell you what, guys, I'm still hitting huge Fel Rushes. It's great the way it procs, the way Demon Hunter works with Unbound Chaos right now is, I like it. I really do. Glaive Tempest, again, that was the play for a while. It does a good amount of damage, but basically you're looking at Glaive Tempest, best case scenario, it does maybe 5-6k damage. Best case scenario for Unbound Chaos, you're hitting 15k crits, right? And that can really change the tide of a game. So Unbound Chaos for sure. This next row, Netherwalk is what I'm currently spec'd into, because I personally like Netherwalk. There's a lot of one-shots out there. There's a lot of things that you can just very easily just avoid just by pressing that button. And it was buffed. It lasts 6 seconds now. It used to last 5 seconds. Now, Netherwalk is a 6-second cooldown. Soul Rending, we're going to get back to Desperate Instincts in a second, but let me talk about Soul Rending. Leech has been increased, right? It was 5%, down from 10% in BFA. Then in Season 1 it went back to 5%. Now it's back to 10%. But the additional Metamorphosis Leech was 25%. Now it's back to 20%. I have played with this a little bit. I've tried to tinker around with it, and I think it can be viable. Guys, I think your decision of running Soul Rending versus Netherwalk is really going to depend on what comp you're fighting and your awareness to be able to know, is this enemy team going to train me? Are they going to try to kill me? If that's the case, if they're going to try to just go me, like big damage, personally, I'm going to take Netherwalk. But if I'm playing a comp where they're going to train my enemy teammate, right? So if I'm playing something that I know is going to just straight go for my healer every time, I'm going to play for Soul Rending. Because the passive Leech will keep me up, as well as all the Necrolord passives and everything you get with Fodder to the Flame and Fleshcraft, which we'll get into here in a little bit. But yeah, I think this is more of a decision on game-by-game basis, which is good, right? I think that's good for the game. I think that's incredibly good that Demon Hunters, when they zone in to fight in a 3v3, in a 2v2, in an RBG, they have to make an intelligent decision and look, hey, this team looks like they're going to go me. I should probably be Netherwalk. Or this team looks like they're going to train somebody else on my team. I'm going to go ahead and add the Leech because I don't think I'm going to be really in that much danger of getting one shot. So, again, Netherwalk, Soul Rending, depending on what team you fight, you can kind of go back and forth with that. Desperate Instincts, the thing most Demon Hunters never run Desperate Instincts, especially in Shadowlands, basically because it auto blurs you, right? So if you know you're good, right? So like you're playing with a priest and he uses Guardian Spirit on you, you know you're good, right? You know, if they get me low, they might get me low, but I'll pop back up to full health, right? That's Guardian Spirit. Well, if you get low, you're going to automatically incur this cooldown. This isn't a bonus cooldown like with the Darkness Legendary, where you would get a bonus Darkness if it procced, right? This isn't a bonus blur. This uses your blur, so that way maybe down the road, here in a couple minutes when you're going to need that blur, it might be on cooldown. Well, I mean, blur is a relatively short cooldown, but what I'm saying is like maybe in a couple seconds, like after blur's off cooldown, they're going to do a go on you. Your healer's big CD is going to wear off, and you're going to die because you don't have blur. So it's just, I like the idea of being able to manage my own defensive cooldowns and not just having everything be automatic, because if this is the first time that I drop I drop below 35% health, then I've got so many things that are going to proc. I've got my we're going to get into the Necrolord stuff, but there are some Necrolord healing abilities that will proc when I get low health. and I don't want that to proc, plus like something with my healer, plus maybe I use something, and then it just automatically procs my blur. No, and for that reason, I like being in charge of my cooldowns. So again, Netherwalk, Soul Rending, I think it depends on what team you're fighting. I find myself running Netherwalk more often, but maybe that's just a personal preference thing. Let's go ahead and get on to the next one. First Blood is going to be my next talent choice. There's not much debate in this. Almost every single Demon Hunter I've ever seen always runs First Blood. Essence Break, tinkered around with it. It just doesn't do as much damage as you want it. The damage is really negligible, and it just it doesn't do much. And then Cycle of Hatred, when Chaos Striker runs Fury, it also reduces the cooldown of Ivy. It's nice. It's kind of like Furious Gaze, if you guys remember what that was from BFA. But at the end of the day, First Blood is going to be your talent choice that you're going to want to take here. Reducing the Fury cost of Blade Dance, because Blade Dance is in your primary damage rotation, and with one of the PvP talents, Mortal Dance, we'll get into that here in a second. Mortal Dance, it's going to be good to have that in your primary rotation, and so increasing its damage, decreasing the amount of fury that it costs. It's just First Blood. Next, moving on, Unleash Power and Master of the Glaive are both good abilities, and I've seen people running Master of the Glaive. Double Demon Hunter, in fact, might be making a comeback. I've fought a couple double Demon Hunters in 9.1 here already, like doing a little practice, and one of them always is running Master of the Glaive. So if you're running double Demon Hunter, maybe a possibility, run Master of the Glaive. Unleash Power, I just don't think it's really that much of a benefit, right? So it reduces the Fury cost of Chaos Nova and reduces its cooldown by 33%, which could be good, but you don't gain anything. You just, if you take Fell Eruption, you gain a 4-second range stun, which is so huge. I mean, just reducing the cooldown of your AoE stun to get is not a good trade-off for taking a full other range stun, right? Because here you can AoE stun the entire enemy team, and then you could single target stun the healer. And it's just Fell Eruption. Yeah, it's just the play for sure. Now, next one. Momentum has been something I've very, very much experimented with. Momentum versus Demonic, that's the bait here. Fel Barrage is good. I miss Legion Fel Barrage, but it just does not do that much damage. It does a good amount, right? Like 10k, 12k, something like that. But it's very long cooldown, and it's more of a skill shot. You're gonna want to run either one of these two over Fel Barrage, but my opinion is Demonic is the play, and let me explain this for you. Demonic is going to be the play for this because of the way Demon Hunter was buffed, because of the Demon Blade buff, because of the Chaos Strike and Annihilation buff, and because of the Legendary that we're going to be running, which I'll show you here in a second. But Demonic, basically, if you don't know, whenever you cast I-Beam, you get some extra time in Metamorphosis form. You get some extra time with extra Leech, and you get some extra time with extra damage, which is huge. That's really good. You got to keep that in mind. So that extra damage, that you're getting on when you're in demon form, it really stacks well with everything that you've got going with the Necrolord Demon Hunter, or just with the Demon Hunter in general right now. And I mean, I've tried Momentum. I have, guys. I ran Momentum a lot in Season 1. And, I mean, it was good. Momentum, I think, is something that can be paired very well with Night Fade Demon Hunter. Because, you know, you get that Fell Rush, you get that increase, then you hunt with the 15% increased damage. It's good. It can be good. But as a Necro Demon Hunter, I feel like you're always going to want to be in Demonic. Okay? So, PvP talents. Let's talk about PvP talents here, guys. And I know this isn't I don't have any fancy transition screens for you, any super well polished. What I'm trying to do here, guys, is enjoy making content, enjoy making YouTube videos. I just want to give you the basics, right? So right now you're hearing exactly what I'm going to be doing, what I'm going to be running, what I'm going to be playing going into 9.1. Right, I've done a lot of research on this to find out what is going to be the best for Necrolord Demon Hunter, what is going to be, why Necrolord is going to be the best for me as well. I've been 2700 Gladiator, just got Hero of the Horde as well, and I'm looking to push 3K this next season. I'm looking to push rank 1. I'm not just taking this lightly. I'm not playing casually, right? I am trying to push. Now, I may not be a 5-6 time multi-rank 1 BlizzCon champion, but maybe one day, right? Maybe one day. And until then, I just want to help you guys out and let you know, give you as much knowledge as I have, right? I can only give you what I have. I can't give you knowledge that I don't have. So, without further ado, gonna get into our PvP talents. Went on a little spiel there, sorry. But Chaotic Imprint. Yeah, Chaotic Imprint. The new ability that Demon Hunters got in 9.1, basically throw glaive now deals damage from a random school of magic, and that's important, remember that, and increases the target's damage taken from the school by 10% for 20 seconds. So, you see where it says random school of magic? That's important, and that's important because if you're playing Demon Hunter, you do chaos damage. And chaos is magic damage, but it's not a school, it's any school. So basically so say you throw the glaive and it will show that your target is taking 10% increased fire damage, right? Right here, Chaotic Imprint, my debuff, fire damage. Well, chaos damage still benefits from fire damage because chaos is all magic schools, right? So Chaotic Imprint always increases your damage done. Chaotic Imprint always does it. And so basically at any point, this is just a 10% damage buff for you for throwing your glaive at the target, right? And then let me see okay, let me see if it works. Yep, see right there? I changed it out, and this is another thing. This may be fixed, this may be, patched at some point, but as of right now, and it looks like this is what it's intended. See, I spec'd out of Chaotic Imprint, then back in, and oh, wait, now it's arcane damage, right? Chaos damage still benefits, but let me show you the point. Say I'm playing with an arcane mage. Well, before the gates open, I'm going to swap out Chaotic Imprint, and I'm going to get it to where it says arcane, so that way my enemy my teammate has a bonus 10% damage as well as me, and that can be huge, right? And so, let me see if it'll work again. Come over here, bam. Oh, look at that, exactly what I was looking for, shadow damage. Why? Because I want to play with either a Shadow Priest, or maybe I want to play with a DK. To be honest, I'm planning to push DH, DK, Mistweaver, or DH, DK, Arshaman coming up in this next season, and if I have shadow damage coming up as my Chaotic Imprint, then my DK, who does shadow damage, also gets that 10% increased damage buff on the target that we're trying to kill. We maybe kill him in the opener because of it. So, for that reason, Chaotic Imprint is definitely the play. I'll get into why you need to throw your glaive at the enemy target instead of just at your demon when we talk about the fodder to the flame. But just remember that when you throw the glaive at the enemy target, that's when it procs that Chaotic Imprint. So next up, these next two abilities, they can be interchanged depending on what you're playing with. I think Chaotic Imprint you kind of keep versus all comps. Reverse Magic is, we've had it, Demon Hunters have had it, you know about it. It's very useful. It does a lot, right? It does a lot for us. There's no buffs, there's no nerfs, there's no changes to Reverse itself, so I won't get into it too much, but if you're playing against a comp that really needs or doesn't have anything that you can really reverse, you can trade it out, right? You can definitely trade it out. If I were to trade it out, I like this new talent Glimpse as well, right? Vengeful Retreat provides immunity to loss control effects and reduces your damage taken from 75% until you land. So let me show you for a second here, guys, what this means. So watch my debuffs here. Bam. So that whole time that I'm in the air, I'm taking 75% reduced damage. And if, say, somebody was casting a polymorph on me in that moment, it doesn't land. Here's another tidbit. Say I get disarmed, right? Say I'm fighting like a TSG, like a warrior, and he disarms me. I can hit that, and Glimpse will, again, provide immunity from loss of control effects, which disarm falls under. Therefore, it will immediately remove my disarm without needing to trinket it. But, here you go. Look, guys, I'm up on a ledge now, and this is a higher area than where it is. I hit my Glimpse, and oh, the ability stays on longer. It will stay on almost, not infinitely, right? But it will stay on longer based on my flight time, I guess you would say, until I touch the ground. So, if you're on an arena such as Tiger's Peak, and you jump up on the ledge, and then you Vengeful Retreat off, that gives you even more uptime on your immunity and your 75% damage reduction. So that's just something to keep in mind there. It's little Demon Hunter tips and tricks right there for you. And if I'm not going to take Glimpse, I'm not going to take Reverse, I might take Detainment. Detainment has not exactly been changed. The base form of Imprison was changed to where it lasts for another second in PvP combat. But Detainment is good. It's not breakable. It's kind of, I compare it to like a Cyclone when I'm explaining it to people. And I think it's definitely good. Definitely good to take. Other than that, I have been experimenting with Blood Moon and Isolated Prey as well. Now, Blood Moon, consume magic, affects all enemies within 8 yards of the target, and grants 5% leech. So, if I'm fighting something that, say, I know isn't going to go me, right? And I'm playing Soul Rend. This is a very specific scenario here, but I want to explain it to you guys. Say I'm using Soul Rending, and I'm fighting something very caster heavy, right? Maybe I'm fighting a mage in there who's just got so many purgeable buffs, but he's got a shaman with him too. Well, they've got so many buffs, I can't just keep them clean. That I don't have the global cooldown to just sit there and purge on cooldown, right? But if they're standing next to each other, I'm gonna be running my consume magic, and that extra 5% leech puts me up to 15% leech or 25% leech, which is good. And it takes off all the buffs from the mage and maybe the shaman. And if we're, and we'll get into this in a second, but if I'm running this conduit right here, which is Ravenous Consumption, consume magic having a chance to remove a second beneficial effect, right? Well, the stars can align and I can remove maybe up to 3 different abilities purged from the enemy cooldowns. Maybe it's Dark Soul and Combust and Descendants. Or, Bloodlust. Maybe not. It's a very low possibility, but it could happen. So, Blood Moon, definitely a good talent to take. I think it's very situational, though. I do not run it every time. And then Isolated Prey. This one, I've been experimenting with it, but I haven't found the perfect scenario when it's needed. Now, the extra fury generated from the Fell Rush, I find, is very helpful. The Chaos Nova stun duration increased by another second is also very helpful. And then the I-Beam target taking 10% increased damage. Like, these are all very good things. The issue is Demon Hunters have this issue where they have so many good PvP talents that it's hard to choose, and the ones that are just not like top tier, like if you need to run Reverse, well, you can't run Isolated Prey because, well, you need Reverse. You will die without Reverse. So I haven't found a perfect situation where Isolated Prey fits in, but I'm not saying there isn't one. I'm saying Isolated Prey could be something good. If you don't need a reverse, you don't need... so say you don't need reverse, say you don't need Mortal Dance because you're playing with something that already has an MS, maybe you can fit Isolated Prey in there. That would be good. It would help you. But anyways, moving on, Mortal Dance. So, if you don't know, the MS that Demon Hunters have got changed from Mortal Rush to Mortal Dance. It's still kind of the same thing. It's a 25% Mortal Strike. All it does is reduce the enemy's healing for 5 seconds, but it's on your Blade Dance now. It's on your Blade Dance instead of your Fell Rush. Therefore, you can use stuff like your Unbound Chaos to immediately... so my phone went off in the background. Sorry there. You can use stuff like your Unbound Chaos to immediately go right after your Fell Rush, and you're doing damage that's not going to get healed back up at the right percentage. So, Mortal Dance, from all of the experimenting that I've been doing, from what I see, it stacks with Unholy DK, which is why I think maybe Demon Hunter Unholy DK are going to be just dominant in this early season. Maybe they'll patch that at some point, but as of right now, the Unholy DK Necrotic Wounds seems to stack with the Mortal Dance, and it makes for a pretty nasty combo. But if you're fighting with, say, a Warrior or something like a Windwalker, you don't need to take Mortal Dance. You can go into Rain from Above. You can go into Blood Moon. One reason I would say you do not need to take Darkness is because Darkness has been nerfed, guys. I don't know who doesn't know this, but one of the reasons we're not going to be running the Darkness Legendary anymore is because if you read here, the radius of darkness is increased by 4 yards and its duration by 2 seconds. That's cool. Bigger darkness, longer darkness, but it's a worse dark, right? And what they did was, it was a base percentage of 20%, and then the cover of darkness talent would increase it by 50%. So at the end of the day, you're standing in a 70% chance to avoid all damage. What they did was they changed it, basically made this cover of darkness just increase the radius, right? And then made your base darkness 50% chance to avoid all damage, which is good. It is still a decent cooldown, but you basically take it from the best darkness being 70% to now the best you can get is 50% with maybe a little bigger radius. So for that reason, darkness maybe not to play, which is another reason why Necro DH, with all of its passive healing and its passive defensives, are my choice moving forward. So anyways, we talked about this. We went into a couple PvP talents I think are good. Showed you guys some talents. Let's talk about legendaries here, guys. So the current legendary that I've got on is Chaos Digits. Chaos Theory. This one, I got it at 235. Going to be able to upgrade it to higher item level as soon as I can. But Chaos Digits, it increases the damage of your Chaos Strike, right? And it's a percentage, it's a proc. But, you know, guys, what has been buffed on Demon Hunters? The Chaos Strike, right? So your Chaos Strike and your Annihilation just do so much more damage. Plus, you're getting procs from your legendary. Plus, you have things like Chaotic Imprint increasing your chaos damage. Plus, you have things like your Fodder to the Flame Necrolord Demon, which we'll talk about in a little bit, that increase your damage in general. It's just a storm of multipliers on multipliers, and running Chaos Digits, when you get this proc, if you have Metamorphosis rolling, they are getting chunked. You are just hammering those Chaos Strike, those Annihilations, and they are getting chunked. And for that reason, I believe the play this season, early on or later on, is going to be Chaos Digits, or I have been I hit the wrong button. I have been experimenting on the PTR with Collective Anguish. I don't have it on my Demon Hunter on live because I've only got the Chaos Digits Legendary. But I have been experimenting with Collective Anguish on the PTR as far as how much healing it does. And I think, you know, it could be the play, right? If you're fighting something that continuously is killing you, and you just don't have enough healing, I think maybe Collective Anguish, it gives you a good, your 20%, it'll get you to 60, 70%. You know, your 50%, it'll close to full heal you up. Collective Anguish, basically, if you don't know, when you cast I-Beam, it summons an allied Vengeance Demon Hunter to cast Spell Devastation, which heals you. And it does do a considerable amount of healing. So that's my opinion on the legendaries. I told you Collective Anguish. I told you that Chaos Digits is what I'll be running for sure. Battlemaster Trinket, while we're still here talking about gear, Battlemaster Trinket, right, the Sinful Gladiator's emblem, has been nerfed. It was increasing your health by 27k, now it's only 10k. For that reason, I believe that you're going to want to run your regular Medallion Trinket and your Insignia, because now, with the way Demon Hunter is, you're going to want to have haste, right? Before, you maybe wanted to have a little bit of health, a little bit of survivability. Maybe you get the on-use trinket to go with your hunt. But playing Necrolord Demon Hunter, having all that passive, you know, those amplifiers that we just talked about on your Annihilation, your Chaos Strikes, having that extra haste, that shorter GCD, is really going to be the play. So, itemization going into this next season, you're going to want versatility, and then haste, and then crit. Right now, main stat agility over everything else, yes, but you're going to want to have your versatility, then your haste, then your crit, and then mastery is, it's good, it increases your chaos damage, but you're gonna want to have your pieces be, we're gonna run over here, but you're gonna want to have your pieces be versatility and haste, or versatility and crit, something like that, or crit haste. Next up, we're going to talk about the conduits and the Soulbinds as far as the Necrolord goes. And for that, let's go ahead and get my face off here so you can see everything. Okay. And there it is. So, Volatile Solvent is going to be the first. Actually, let me not get ahead of myself. You've got 3 different schools here, right? You've got Plague Deviser, you've got the second one, and you've got Bonesmith Heimir. Bonesmith Heimir, I mean, it's still locked right now, but I've experimented on the PTR with a lot of it. And this Sulfuric Emission is really the selling point of the second one. Now, when reduced below 20% health, you fear enemies for 3.5 seconds, may only occur once per 60 seconds, every 1 minute. And it's a fear that does not DR, if you guys understand that. Say somebody's on fear DR from like a warlock or something on your team, in this procs, like they're still getting feared. So it's definitely still really, really good defensive. But I think this first school, this Plague Deviser Malorith, is good. Now, right here, Volatile Solvent, what this is basically, it's just a damage buff with your Fleshcraft. Let me show you. So you come here, you Fleshcraft, and you get this buff right here, Volatile Solvent Humanoid, and basically increases your mastery by 120, which is, if you know what mastery does, it is just a chaos damage buff. So basically just increasing your damage by a small bit, which is good, nothing wrong with that. Your first potency conduit, I'm going to go ahead and put Relentless Onslaught, the conduit, into it here. And Chaos Strike has an 8% chance to trigger a second Chaos Strike. I think that's going to be one of your strongest conduits that you can get. You're going to want to get this upgraded as soon as possible. And Relentless Onslaught is just, it goes so well with the way Demon Hunter does damage right now, especially on the legendary proc that we just talked about not too long ago. I would always use Relentless Onslaught. Now, this right here, Ooze's Frictionless Coating, is one of the reasons why Necrolord Demon Hunter is so tanky, is so viable in this new meta. When reduced below 50% health, Ooze 50%, Ooze covers you, granting you a shield for 15% of your maximum health for 10 seconds. May only occur once per 30 seconds. This can occur 2 times in a minute, right? Meaning, almost every time you get dropped below 50% health, you're going to immediately get a shield for 15% of your health. And this is just so big when it comes to defensively. There's so much. 15% of your health is a good chunk, right? And if the enemy team has to go through that 15% shield every time they want to get you, maybe that's the difference between winning a game and losing a game, right? I have experimented with this a lot, and it is a giant heal at the end of a match. It really does help, and it really does proc. Virtually, it can proc every 30 seconds. So this is one of the big selling points of a Necrolord Demon Hunter right here. Next up, Fell Defender, the cooldown of Blur reduced by 10 seconds. Kind of a defensive thing here in your Endurance Conduit. I've taken a look. There's a lot of good Endurance Conduits, but especially right here, this Condensed Anima-Sphere. When you take any damage heal for 0.35% of your maximum health, this can only occur once every 10 seconds. That's not that much of a heal, but every 10 seconds, getting a heal for a certain percentage of your maximum health. And once this gets to a 252 item level conduit, this does have a very, very good heal on it. So I think once your conduits are fully maxed out, maybe swapping Condensed Anima-Sphere, the new conduit, out for Fell Defender might be a really good play. It's just at item level 200, it's not enough. It's just a very, very small percentage, and it's just not enough of a heal. But I think once you get this up to 252 here in the 9.1, it will definitely be the play for your Endurance Conduit. But for right now, going into the next season, when your conduits are still a little bit lower item level, you're going to want to have this Fell Defender. This next up is kind of a you can go either or, right? Defeating enemies has a chance to deploy a Plague Burn Cleansing Slime, which increases the remaining durability of your armor. Which, I mean, durability of your armor doesn't really count in PvP, but I mean it's a good thing. That's why I chose that. Allows opening of locks that require up to 60 skill, right? This is more of a flavor thing. This is a cosmetic one. You know, do you want to be able to open up like up to 60 skill locks, or do you want to be able to have a little bit less durability damage on your armor? I think I went with the armor one because it just directly correlates to saving gold, so I'm okay with that. But you can either choose either here. It doesn't. This choice is not impactful at all. Next up, you have another potency conduit, which I chose to go with the new conduit that's out, or the new Necrolord conduit. Sorry, the new Necrolord conduit, which is Brooding Pool. Increases the duration of empowered demon soul obtained from fodder to the flame by 5 seconds. Basically, the demon that's going to spawn when your fodder to the flame spawns is going to increase. Basically, it's going to stay. The buff is going to stay on you for an extra 5 seconds, and that's really big. It increases. That's an increase in damage for an extra 5 seconds. And again, like I said, we'll get to the fodder to the flame and the Fleshcraft here at the end, because I have some gameplay footage that I want to get into to show you exactly why this is so much. Why I'm choosing this. Why this is the play. So next up, we have Ravenous Consumption, which we already got into. Very good to play with the Blood Moon talent, by the way. Consume Magic has a 21% chance to remove a second beneficial magic effect from the target. As of right now, I see this proccing all the time. I see almost every time that I press Purge, it's removing extra beneficial effects. So this is very good, right? I would say this Ravenous Consumption is definitely the play right now. It seems to be doing very well. If you're looking to, especially in this meta, go up against a caster, go up against a mage who's going to press Combust, warlock who's going to press Dark Soul, I would say that's what you need to be. Next up, Ultimate Form basically, this is you're going to get this when you come here. When channeling Fleshcraft, you're immune to crowd control, and you regenerate 2 health every 1 second. This is huge. The immune to crowd control thing. You can really stop, say, an RMP. You can stop an RMP's go just by pressing Fleshcraft at the perfect time. You can not get polyed, not get feared, not get hexed, not get stunned if you Fleshcraft at the right time. So that immune to CC, guys, they brought back the Blade Dance immunity dodge in the form of Fleshcraft, right? You're not going to be able to just randomly dodge a kidney, but the good players are going to be able to time it right and press Fleshcraft right before that rogue presses kidney and feel good about it, right? It's not just a random chance. You actually, there's a little bit of a skill involved in this. So, and the fact that you press Fleshcraft and it starts healing you and it gives you this big absorbed shield is just so good defensively. I mean, we'll get into it. I'm going to show you some gameplay footage, why I think it's the best. But anyways, moving on. This next potency slot, I've gone back and forth a lot. Maybe a little bit of serrated glaive, a little bit of growing potency. But I think out of all of this, I really think serrated glaive is going to be exactly what I'm going to put in this next thing. Enemies hit by throw glaive take 14% increased damage from I-beam. Basically, you're going to be throwing glaive. You're going to be throwing glaive at your kill target all the time, and so having them take increased damage from your I-beam as well, because you're going to use that in your damage rotation, I think is going to be the play. Especially, it's only 14% at 200 item level, so once this gets up to 252, it's going to be the play. Now, you've got Vicious Trail here. When struck by a snare, you drop a puddle that lasts for 10 seconds. Enemies that step in the puddle are slowed by 70% for 5 seconds. That's pretty good, especially if you're going against something that's going to be training you, that's going to be following you. But also you have right here, well above 80% health, 5% of the damage taken is absorbed and spread out over 5 seconds. I don't exactly like this just because it doesn't say 5% of the damage is absorbed. It says it's spread out over 5 seconds. So you're not taking the damage. You're just redistributing the damage at a time that could maybe be bad for you to take damage. So in that regards, I'm going to choose Vicious Trail because if I got something on me or something following me or something that just happens to walk behind me, they're going to get slowed by 70% for 5 seconds. That's a big slow. That's a big slow. That's like a Chains of Ice level slow right there. So I really like that one. And then so because of that, you're going to have another Endurance Conduit right here, which I think that's going to be the point where I'm going to throw in the Condensed Animosphere, because Condensed Animosphere, by that time I should be able to get the Conduit level up a little bit. And again, like I said, the heal, it may not be that big of a heal, but every 10 seconds, well, it's not every 10 seconds, but it says this can occur once every 10 seconds, meaning it occurs 11 seconds later, it can occur again. So that could be a lot of healing. And on the PTR, it does show up on the meters as a decent amount of healing. And last, you've got Kevin's Oozling, which is another big reason to take Necrolord. Fodder of the Flame summons Kevin's Oozling to fight alongside you for 40 seconds. His attacks cause your enemies to take 6% additional damage from you, and he periodically grants your allies an Absorb Shield that absorbs 209 damage. Now, 209 damage is very negligible. That's not a lot. I'm not really worried about that, but the 6% additional damage taken when you get the Fodder to the Flame Demon, you're already doing so much increased damage. It's just... Here we are. We're back. Hello, my face again. You're already doing so much increased damage that it's just really good. So, anyways, that is the take on the Soulbinds and Conduits. Let's talk about what you really want to know for Necrolord Demon Hunter, which is, what do you get being a Necrolord Demon Hunter? You get Fleshcraft, right here. We already talked about this. Form a shield of flesh and bone over 3 seconds that absorbs damage equal to 40% of your maximum health for 2 minutes. I don't have any buffs, right? I don't have a fort buff. I don't have Den Mother. And that's 23,000 damage just right now. And I'm not even in 252 gear. I'm in 226, 227 gear. And that's 23,000 damage that I'm going to absorb that's not going to go on me. Plus, it has an ability to immune CC coming on me. And I've got some gameplay footage at the end of this guide we'll show you that will give you some really good tips and insights into where and how to use it. But Fleshcraft, you can use this. It's only a 2-minute cooldown. You can use this in the middle of an arena multiple times. And next up, right, Fodder to the Flame. Now, this is a passive. This isn't anything you have to hit. But basically, okay, so let me read it first, and I'll give it a breakdown. Your damaging abilities have a chance to call forth a demon from the theater of pain for 25 seconds. Throwglaive deals lethal damage to the demon. Basically, your Throwglaive one-shots the demon that gets spawned and explodes, dealing 4,000 splash damage to enemy targets nearby. And this can crit, by the way. Which, when it crits pretty good. And it heals you for 25% of your maximum health, and the explosion deals reduced damage beyond 5 targets. So it just means it can splash to 5 targets. But what does this really mean? Basically, I'm fighting a demon procs, right? I throw my glaive at my target when my demon is standing right next to it, and then the demon splash damage hits him for, you know, a couple thousand, 4,000, maybe 6,000, maybe 10,000 if it hits a good crit. And all of a sudden now I get a 25% heal. A fourth of my health just healed back up, and this can crit, and this benefits, this heal on the Fodder of Flame demon can benefit from something like, say your priest cast Guardian Angel on you, Guardian Spirit, and what that does is increases your healing, and you get a Fodder of Flame proc, you're at 20%. You can heal literally from 20% to full because you have the increased healing. You get that Fodder of the Flame demon. It's a base 25%. It crits, or it gets the big buff on its healing. You just healed up to full without your healer having to use like a giant cooldown, without Guardian Spirit proccing. So, very, very good, guys. I want to show you Fleshcraft, and I want to show you Fodder of the Flame, and I want to show it to you in a way that isn't just me standing here fighting a dummy. I want to show you in a way that you're going to be able to take and be able to see and use in your own scenario. So, because of that, I'm going to show you some gameplay footage. We got a couple clips from some Threes games that I've been playing, and of when to use, how to use the Fodder to the Flame, when it procs, what it looks like when it procs, and when to use Fleshcraft as well. So, guys, without further ado, we will get into that. Let's get into the footage. So, as promised, guys, we're going to get into some gameplay footage right here. I got a couple clips. The first one is us playing against a LEDH against Thugonomics, right? The very recognizable name in the community. A very good Demon Hunter as well. Glad to see him back playing it again. So right here, audio's got to be muted, unfortunately, due to copyright issues. But right here, you can see. Let me show you. I want you to watch my health right here, right? And I'm gonna go ahead and okay. So I dipped right here. I dipped to 50%, right? I dipped to 50%, and then immediately, without my healer, he doesn't have any cooldowns, right? Without he has pain sup, but he doesn't use it here. And immediately I just get healed right back up to full. He lands a big heal, but the passive healing that happens right here, just from like the Ooze's frictionless coating and everything, it works out so well. And you can see that I'm able to, again, stay alive below 50% health because of this extra absorb shield, because of, I did get pain stuff for my priest and everything here, multiple things happening at the same time, but staying alive long enough to grant me the time to get to the end to grab the kill on the elemental shaman. And as far as the Fodder to the Flame, this is what it looks like, right? Let me back this up a couple seconds here. This is what it looks like when it spawns. It shows this little line right here, and then you throw your glaive at it. You throw your glaive at the demon, and you get this buff, right? So for more, we're gonna go ahead and go into the next clip right here, and you can see I've already got a demon that's been spawned, but my demon is kind of, it's still a new ability, so give Blizzard credit. It's kind of stuck on a wall, but right here, you know, I go, right, grab the kill on the demon, and then I get this big damage buff, and I've got Metamorphosis rolling, right, and you will see I've got my legendary proc, so I've got the Fodder the Flame Demon, I've got Metamorphosis, I've got Chaotic Imprint as well, like I showed you, and I've got a legendary proc as well right here. See, look, right here, this is exactly what I was talking to you guys about. I'm playing with a DK, right? And right here, I can recognize right there, that is the shadow. So Chaotic Imprint, he's taking increased shadow damage. So he's taking 10% increased damage just from the Chaotic Imprint from me and from the DK. Plus I've got meta, plus I've got the demon, plus I've got my legendary proccing right here, and it's just through Pain Sup, might I add, through Pain Sup, we are able to just chunk down this priest to the point where I can't remember if he dies directly right here or if he's gonna die. Yeah, he's gonna die here in a second. Yeah, we're able to just chunk him down, and see, this is an instance where my teammate is also benefiting from that extra damage. We're able to just outright pressure the enemy healer down with DH/DK, and it feels great. Running this comp, it feels great. So there's two clips right here. That's an example of the Chaotic Imprint and the demon as well. Let me get into our last example right here, which is another example of just how much absolute damage that can be had with this DH/DK running the with the Necrolord, and when everything procs, everything spawns, right? You know, we come in, starting out with our AoE stun, right here, immediately get a demon proc. I've got Metamorphosis rolling, I've got a Chaotic Imprint rolling as well, right? And I've got my Fodder to the Flame Demon ready to go, right?
Big demon proc
go over here, kill it. This guy's got wall, so immediately we're like, hey, let's kill the Resto Druid. We've got all the damage in the world right now, and you can even see, hey, look, that shadow Chaotic Imprint. Sorry, the quality here is a little weird because it's a clip, but I've got that shadow Chaotic Imprint, so we've got all the damage in the world for both me and my DK getting that increased damage buff, and we're able to just, through Iron Bark, right at the end here, he pressed Iron Bark at like 5%, 8% health, so it's a little late, but we're able to just chunk him down with massive damage. And so again, guys, that is some examples, and that is some gameplay footage right there of why I run the build. Because it's one thing to say, hey, you need to play Chaotic Imprint, hey, Fodder to the Flame's really good. It's another thing to show you guys. You see, these aren't just 1,200 players. We're playing at 2,700 MMR, right? We are fighting Thugonomics. We are playing good players, and we are still just destroying them with massive unhealable damage. So, guys, thank you very much. Let's go ahead and get to that outro. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed my guide. I hope you enjoyed the footage and everything. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Anything you think I may have missed, I'll try to. I always respond to almost all of my comments that I get. So, especially within the first couple months of me posting a video. So, feel free to leave anything in the comments. Make sure to click that like button and smash the subscribe button as well. I'm a small-time content creator, so every little thing helps. And guys, if you're ever looking to watch the stream as well, I do guides and stuff like this all the time. I help people on my stream all day long. twitch.tv/BARNDOORR. It'll be linked in the description. Make sure to check it out. Daily content. We're back to full-time content creation again. So, guys, hopefully see you there. Have a great day.